Hey, Duncan.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm down with a cold at the moment, so I'm at home. I'm at home.
Oh, I was wondering, aren't you at work?
Yeah. No. Excuse me. Yeah. No. I'm sitting on the sofa with a fire next to me and a big glass of hot lemon and
Yeah.
honey.
Oh, people are. Today's a special day here also, since it's the exam period in Belgium, so kids are
Ah.
earlier at home
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, how are you doing? Apart from
Not
being
too bad.
sick?
Apart from being sick, I'm all right. I'm just back from a 2 week work trip, so I
Oh, where
haven't.
did you go?
The company I work for is based out in Bermuda,
Oh,
so which is a nice break from the weather that we've got here at the moment. Sunshine and warmer weather for two
right.
weeks is kind of fun. But
Yeah, I'd love to have that also. It did used to happen for me when I was working for a company in San Francisco. Flying over was always, most of the times, was also a good surprise weather-wise
yeah,
compared to
yeah.
Belgium.
Are you in store for I think you're in the line of this windstorm we're about to get as well. I think
I don't know. I don't
the
really.
weather forecast for this week is pretty poor. There's a big anticyclone moving through.
Really? Okay.
So we're just starting to see it here in Ireland. It was fine this morning, but now raining and windy.
Yeah. Hey, Drachika.
Hello.
Weather.
Hey. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks. You too?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not too
Since
bad.
yesterday. That would,
Yeah, I'd forgotten that Mike was doing the extra session yesterday.
yeah. Yeah. It was quite
How
interesting.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. Some interesting points about live performance and
Hmm.
so yeah. It was very very helpful. Drachika, it's your microphone again. I think you've got a faulty contact somewhere because
Mm.
this is horrible noise coming and going. Like yesterday, actually. Yeah. Well, these headset mics, I think I don't know how many I've broken already. They do seem to be a bit fragile. So, have you been playing the Eigenharp, Duncan?
I brought my Pico on the work trip and I played a little bit,
Yeah.
1 or 2 evenings, but
Yeah, it's
the
always
office
difficult.
has sat on its case for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But now that you posted the script for the hang, I think I might take advantage of Sonic Couture's Christmas offer and
Yeah.
pick up the hang and the Glassworks
Yes. Yeah.
samples. They're nice.
Yeah,
Nice sounds.
they're very nice. I've got them also, and I like them a lot. Yeah, that hang thing finally got it sent out right.
Yeah.
It's
It's nice to see these kind of larger scripts. It kind of gives you a feel for what it takes to construct a rig or whatever we're
right.
calling it these days.
Yeah, yeah. Which is changing in a week or two with Workbench. You'll probably not run a script anymore. So,
Right. Okay.
hey, Mike.
Morning. Hi, Duncan.
Anyway,
Hi,
how you
Drekika.
doing?
So yeah, I got your email, Mike. Thanks for following up on that. So I did try to sign up for that backstage thing, and I stopped before the end because I couldn't see anywhere any kind of clause that says allows you to cancel or whatnot. So I was like, okay, I don't want something that renews
Yeah.
every
And I don't think
every
there's a great deal of value in it either, really.
right.
I've actually got stuck in a couple of those and just phoned my bank and said, oh, I lost my credit card. That solves the problem.
Right. So, hi Muat. I think we might. I'm curious to see if we'll have the same thing as yesterday, where we got a whole bunch of random people joining because it's a public hangout.
Public. Mhm.
Yeah. If that continues to happen, we might make them just invite only. It was a bit frustrating yesterday. There was someone coming in with loud music that didn't turn it off and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
annoying. So, Geert, how are things shaping up for the conference in January?
I know as much as you guys.
Okay.
It's all on the forums.
All right.
I do know that it will probably be very difficult to do any kind of suitable live streaming. So I'm not sure what exactly we're gonna do. I think I might. It depends on what John really wants, but I'm gonna propose to actually film it correctly with good image quality and good sound, and then take the interesting parts from that and post it a week later or something like that after they've
That
been
seems like a
processed.
reasonable compromise.
Because the only way to get live streaming going there is to really reduce the resolution enormously and to have it run at a frame rate of like 8 frames per second or something like that, which is gonna suck. So I'm not sure if that's really gonna be that useful. And that is not counting all the bandwidth that the attendees will be eating up. which will probably be quite a lot. Yes. Well, I know that when I go to any kind of conference personally, I tend to eat up quite a bit of bandwidth. So yeah. Yeah. Apart from that, I've actually been not doing that much on the Eigenharp apart from those last 2 videos that I recorded. I was very busy getting the next release out and busy with the exams here in Belgium, the kids. The advantage is that you get to review all your math skills. You get to read through all their books and figure out a way to explain it.
That's probably a good thing. Keep the brain firing on all cylinders.
But it is interesting though, because I realized that things that I learned back then that I didn't really understand, but I kind of executed them as you know when you're a kid and you learn in school. And you say, okay, I learned these formulas by heart, and I'll just apply them. They show me how to do these exercises, and that's it. And theory that you never really revisited afterwards, but having done so many other things in the meantime, and then having to think about it again, it all of a sudden makes sense. It's like, okay, well, yeah, actually, that is very cool. That's very cool stuff. But the kids don't agree. I think you're muted, Mike.
I am.
Yeah.
I find that's true in music as well.
Yeah.
That, if you leave something for a couple of weeks and you go back to it, all of a sudden it's sort of like, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. And I had a similar experience when I actually stopped playing music for about 6 years. And it was also totally different when I went back to it. Things that I thought were hard and were taking up a lot of frustration and time and dedication. Suddenly they weren't that important anymore, and they're just like, okay, well, that's fine. I just do something else. So Dragika seems to have the same problem with her microphone as yesterday.
Oh, you're back to...
yeah, she's back to typing.
Okay, well, we can watch you type.
Good thing that Google Plus warns us that you're actually typing.
Yeah, you are, actually. It's true.
So, yeah.
I've spent the morning doing wiring. It's ridiculous, It gets truly...
Everything you've moved and wiring everything together?
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but... Oops. No, you can't, the rate I'm going. This foot pedal is just a hoot to work with. It's backwards. Oh, okay, that's why I'm confused. It probably isn't backwards on yours. But it's a great gadget. It does amp modeling.
Yeah. Is that the HD?
Is that one of the Line 6 ones?
The Line 6 HD?
Yeah, it's the Line 6.
It's the HD, the latest one?
Yeah, the HD 500.
Yeah.
And, it might not sound like all the cabinets they have modeled exactly, but it sure takes up a lot less room.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
I'm all for amp modeling. That's how I play all the time with my guitars. It's I've never really been concerned about trying to recreate that faithful sound because I never actually had any vintage gear.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't care as long as it sounds good. It's,
Sure.
So yeah, and it sure beats having to set up a microphone and trying to find the right volume and then not kicking that around on stage and yeah.
Yeah, I actually wish I had an extension cable for the DPA mic for the Eigenharp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would be nice is if when that cable gets modified for the little connector,
Yeah.
the remaining cable get sort of the matching connector, so you could actually use the mic in
As an
other
extension.
contexts.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it also. There is actually someone that seems to try to get onto the Hangout who is interested in an Eigenharp, but he's got trouble. Just give me a second. Because I have the habit of shutting everything down. Yeah, at one time, Mike, with what I was proposing to John, but we never actually got into that, is to have some kind of an adapter that you could use together with any kind of regular mic, so that if you wouldn't want the DB8 mic, that you could still have a longer cable maybe running through the ground and even attach it to real dynamic mics on a mic stand and things like that.
Yeah, I'm actually sort of interested in the opposite. Now that I've bought it, I'd like to have an adapter so I can use it.
I have to tell you though that if you're thinking of using this mic in a live setting without a sound engineer, you're in for a world of pain. It is extremely sensitive, really.
Well, that's actually what got me started. I wanted to put it on the Mohan Vina for the sympathetics.
Right. Yes, it is a very nice microphone, but I've had some people at festivals where I played this summer. I was like, what is going on? We can't keep this under control. So it took quite a while for them to...
Well, do you guys play with wedges? I don't think so, right?
With what?
Wedges?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we did last time when I did the acoustic gig. It's horrible going back to that. You have to find the right position so that you hear yourself correctly. You can't just move around anyway, which way you like, and you got to take care that nothing is blocking the actual audio path from the wedge to your ears. Otherwise, all the highs are being cut off, and it's strange going back to that. So yeah, we're not going to do that. I did it once.
So you use nothing or in ears?
In ears. Now what I use is my metric halo interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically my problem solver for everything. I've really never find anything that I couldn't do with it. So what we have is for each band member, inside the device there is actually a submix pre-programmed. So everything is done beforehand at rehearsal and it's just saved pre-programmed in the device. And I can remotely change each submix. And it is standalone from the computer. So even if the computer crashes, even if anything bad happens, it is totally stored in the metric halo stuff. So we can just continue playing, which is great. Even my guitar amp modeling goes through there because they've got some. It's quite restricted in terms of functionality, but the guitar amp models that they do have sound very good. Partly because their whole DSP engine is 80-bit, which gives it. You've got all these nice little details that really come to their own right. And so yeah. Hang on, I'm just gonna. So he said. The good thing that we've got these URLs now for the Hangouts. So this is a guy, Jeff, who is interested in doing ethnic music on the Eigenharp, and So he just wanted to come over and chat to see
Sounds
what
great.
everyone does. Yeah. So he's been using East West's.
Raw.
No, not rock, but they've got something else. East West that's ethnic.
Yeah, it's RA.
RA, Ra. Okay, right. And then there is Motu that has got their Ethno 2 instrument also.
Yeah, I
that he
don't have
works
that
with.
one.
Me neither. No. But it seems to be very good. I've seen some demos done by Jordan Rudess, which sounded very nice. But,
RAW is very good, but it's very based on key switching.
oh, really? Yeah, that's.
So they have lots of really good, performances of various articulations that you can call on, which is great if you're a keyboard player.
Right. Yes, which is kind of the crux for the Eigenharp, right? If these articulations are not able to be tied to a single note or single key, then it feels much less intuitive.
Yeah, I tend to try and use the percussion keys to do the key switching.
Right, yeah. It makes perfect sense for them.
Yeah, I never get it timed right, though, and it always sounds like crap.
It's training, right?
Yeah.
What I've been having a little bit of fun with, actually, for the last few days, is I've been trying out Uhe's. How do you say this again? This guy, Uhe, he has got a new virtual analog synth called Diva,
Oh, yeah.
which sounds bloody amazing. It's yeah, I got it working, Dachika. It's if you just listen to the basic oscillators going through basic filters, it's like I could swear that it was my Fatty playing. Really, really amazing. So, but I do run it at 96K, but it sounds very good. So yeah, I was having fun with that, and just trying to do, use it as if it would be an outboard analog synth, and behaves very nicely. So that got me thinking again about how to better support audio units in higher numbers of polyphony. So what I was thinking, that was last night, what I was thinking that I might try to implement when I get a moment, just to see if it works. An idea that I previously had was to, if you've got one instance of a plugin running, and you say it has to be polyphonic, that it would automatically do kind of, okay, if you say I want 4 times polyphonic, that would create 3 other instances and use the auto MIDI channels for that. But then, there was a problem with the MIDI CC mappings, because if a particular instance records the MIDI CC mapping on channel 1, then the others would not have it on channel 2 and channel 3 and channel 4. They would still be listening on channel 1. And then this last night I was like, God, why was I thinking that way? You could just send channel 1 to each instance. They don't have to have different channels because they're just running independently. So I think it actually could work very well by regularly polling for the state of the audio unit, see if it has changed. If it has changed, just send it out to other instances of the same audio unit, and then instead of using different MIDI channels, just send channel 1 to each instance of the audio unit. And I can't think of something that wouldn't work. So I think I might try implementing that, see how it works, and if it works, then I put it in Eigen D2, so that you can maybe have another mode where instead of having polyphonic MIDI, that it would kind of, I don't know how to call it, multi-voice MIDI or something like that, where instead of using the MIDI channels, you just say I want that much of polyphony, and then it will automatically create the number of instances of the audio units over VSTs. Well.
Yeah, a nice big sampler like Contact, 10 or 15 instances of that, no problem.
Well, actually with Contact, that will probably be not that bad, because if you run it on Mac, they've got the memory server, where actually the samples are being shared across the processes and the different threads. So memory-wise, you will probably be fine. Hey, Antonio.
Ah,
So you thought about that, Rahika? You think Omnisphere would have a problem in terms of CPU usage? You're not that fast of a typer.
hi, Antonio.
If you try more than 3 instances, I'll have to give it a try. I've ran 4 when playing. Actually, ran 5 simultaneously on my live guitar setup with my MIDI guitar. So I don't know, maybe, but I'm hosting that in standalone Bajul application. I don't know if it's the way that live is hosting it, or if it's something else would have similar trouble. Okay, so if you input a lot of notes and fast changes, then it kind of falls on its face. I've seen that. We've actually discovered bugs in audio units just by the rate at which the Eigenharp sends the data to it. That discover things that no one has ever encountered. Right? If you change a lot of CC, you use a lot of CCs. Well, something that might be just interesting to try for us to know also is the problems that you're having. It would be interesting to see that if you run that in Bajul or another audio unit host, if you also have the limitation of 3 instances of Omnisphere or not. Try it in main stage or even AU Lab, which is that free developer application that you get when you install the Apple development kit. I don't know if you guys know about that. Yeah, AU Lab.
Yeah.
It's quite a neat little application for doing simple stuff. It's yes, I have no doubt that live is pretty stable, but I do know, and that is from people at Eigenlabs having talked with the people at Ableton Live, that they don't have much attention to MIDI channels, and it's something kind of that they didn't kind of integrate deeply into the system apparently. So maybe it's something with that. I don't know. Maybe it's sending too much information while it shouldn't, or I don't know. It might be totally an Omnisphere problem. You know about that, Duncan? AU Lab?
No, I haven't come across that.
Let me just hang
Google
on.
for that.
I'm going to share
See,
my.
I have it
Let me
as
share my
well,
screen. So this. Let's show if it's following around. Yeah. Okay. So inside. So if you install the developer kit, you've got developer.
Yeah.
Where did they move that to? Applications, audio, AU Lab. And that is kind of the reference framework to host AUs in, and you can even use AUs that are not supported anywhere else. It's the kind of generator, I don't know what AUs that not many hosts support. It's quite a neat little thing. And, at one point, I was using it for live performance because it basically just does that. It takes audio and MIDI data and then routes it around and sends some audio out again. So
I'll have to take a look at that in more detail.
So let's see if I can get it running. There have been versions that have been not that
Sorry.
stable.
So Duncan, what have you been doing recently?
As I was saying earlier on in the Hangout, I've been away for the last 2 weeks. The company I work for is based out in Bermuda, so I've had 2 weeks away from the Irish winter, in getting a bit of winter sun in Bermuda, which has been pleasant enough. Apart from working 12-hour days, and but it's so I took my Pico with me and got to play a little bit in the evenings. But that's the nice thing about the Pico. You can easily fit in your carry-on or in your luggage. So I was playing around a little bit with the what was that audio unit? The one that basically essentially behaves a little bit like a modular in the sense that you get to wire connections between the top half and the second half. Alto.
Oh yeah.
So playing around with that a little bit with that, which is kind of fun.
So that, let me just see if I can share that again. That's what a ULab looks like. So you can create channels. It's a little bit like just a small instance of Logic, and when you can put effects in here, create some sends, and basically have this little mixer. And that's it. Just route stuff around and modify your sound. Then you can create more channels and.
I presume there's documentation on Apple's site, right?
Well, no. Actually, documentation comes with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely have to poke around a little bit more with that. The other one that I've been curious about is the Apple Loop utility for creating the drum loops. Mm-hmm. Is that only available with Logic? Is that the only place the only tool for creating those?
Soundtrack, I think. What is it called again?
Yeah,
Soundtrack Pro has it also, I think.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, but you have to have some kind of pro Apple software to have it. And we did kind of, because there's no real specification for it, it's kind of based on trial and error that we got that working. But it does seem to work very well. I'm not sure that Jeff is able to join, which is a pity. Yeah.
That's too bad. It's always nice to have somebody who's just new and interested on the Hangout.
Who's just discovering it. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. I don't have much to show. I've been pretty busy with other stuff. If you guys are interested, I can see if I can get Diva going again. If you guys want to listen to that. Oh, Chris.
Here's somebody.
Chris is joining.
Hey guys.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
You got up early.
Started out really, really loud. Yeah, I made it this time. I even have coffee.
Yeah, I should take some coffee also. Let me just see if I can get it to work. Yeah, we were just talking about nothing much in particular, actually. I was playing around with Diva, which is a new software synth from Uhei. Not sure if you can see it. Can you see the GUI?
No, not at the moment.
It's a black rectangle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me see, how can I do this? Share screen. Let me try to take this out, take that back here, because I have to think about people that will watch it on live stream afterwards also. Share screen. I can't share a portion of my... That's a pity. No, it doesn't want to be shared because it's inside Baijiu. Huh. Oh, basically that's what the basic waveform sounds like. Some nice effects also. Anyway, if I can't share the screen, it will not be that interesting. Huh. I might just try it like this. So what have you been up to, Chris? Anything cool you've been working on?
Nothing technical. I've been practicing.
Oh, and making progress on your Pat
Yeah.
Metheny song? Yeah?
Yeah, really good. I was dealing with. I wanted to put note indicator lights on all the 5 split stuff because I needed more real estate.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it, really. But it's gone really well. Oh, I got a new toy.
Do tell.
I got a 1980 G303 guitar synth. Like
Oh,
one of the
right. Yeah,
originals.
I started looking at one of the videos that you posted on Twitter, but I had to stop looking.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Ah, that's more like it here.
So that's basically the interface of Diva. Nice thing about it also is that if you click on the background, you can kind of change different sizes. So if you just want to have it huge on your screen, just see the GUI, which you can just put it on huge and fill the entire screen. Apart from that, it's just a nice sounding synth. The mod wheel.
So what is he shooting for? Something easier to use, or
no, something
I mean,
much that is much closer to. It actually sounds extremely similar to my Moog, and it's using an insane amount of CPU. It's kind of a no compromise thing. And then it's got some. This is gonna change, but some basic patch chord thing he's going on.
I like the label.
Yeah. And then there are some patches that he's shipping it with here.
you're not gonna have any bandwidth on your track for anything else.
Sorry? Sorry?
You're not gonna have any bandwidth on your track for anything else. I think it uses up the whole frequency spectrum.
Oh, that one, yes.
Ah.
Yeah. But I think it's quite. And so you've got basically different. He modeled different oscillators, so you've got from different synths, from the Juno, different filters.
So it's like a classic.
It's like a collection of classic
It's
modules.
a lot of classic synths, yeah.
Yeah, I really like how it sounds.
It does sound very good. I really enjoyed Bar Nunn's trumpet and flute example on his modular. Did you ever see that? It's on Vimeo. It's hard to do. Dogs, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not sure why dogs
Can
and
you guys
squirrels...
hear? Can you guys hear my harp? Can I play like that?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you, Antonio. you do
Antonio, we can't mention anything that you don't have. It's amazing.
He's not the only one like that, Mike.
Oh, nice.
I was going to say pot kettle.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But never play the guitar. It's definitely the classic sound, I'll tell you that. It's like dead ringer when you play it for Matheny.
I imagine it would track anything.
And so
It's amazing.
how does that
It
track?
tracks faster than the Eigenharp.
How does that track? Is it track on audio or?
Actually, the link on, I need to post it, but it's really fascinating. It doesn't use MIDI at all. What it does is it puts filters on the audio from the guitar, and then it actually detects when the waveform crosses 0.
Really? Yeah.
And it changes that into a square wave,
Yeah.
and then it changes the square wave into a pulse, so it ends up being like a set of triggers on the fundamental frequency, and then it changes that into the saw waveform. But
you have to play
it's-
monophonically, or can you play polyphonically?
no, it's polyphonic because the hex pickups on the guitar send 6 separate audio signals.
That's
so there's
true.
6
Yes.
analog VCOs in there, so you get all 6 strings at once.
That's
but-
interesting.
3 millisecond tracking.
Wow.
3 millisecond from playing guitar to audio. That's yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. Now you make me want to try and get one.
I wish somebody would figure out how to make an updated version that used the same technology. It would have a little bit more sound potential.
I'm wondering if you guys know Keith Mcmillen?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of projects. He did that soft step thingy that neither Dragika nor I like very much.
Mm-hmm.
But he did do something called a string port with horrible demos. But it is interesting because he takes that same approach, which is taking the 13-pin 6-channel audio data and routing it directly into DSP software, where you can then treat it as independent channels running on with software running on your computer.
I have to check that out. I didn't realize.
So I've always been kind of. When I look at it, I'm like, do I press buy or not? And it's like always like, no, not this time. I don't have enough time to actually explore it.
Yeah.
So it does look like an interesting idea, though. Then on the other hand, that's what always puts me off. That's when I compare the audio signal that comes through my hex pickup wire, but when I go through the axon, it sounds like crap. Now, if it's the axon or not, I don't know.
No. I have an Axon. It's sitting on the floor because it's waiting to be sold.
Right.
I mean, it's the fastest of the MIDI ones, but it's just, I don't know, it's just converting guitar to MIDI is not very exciting.
Right.
Yeah.
But
If you really want to know that, just...
Sorry.
Sorry.
You can also pass through the audio with the axon, and when you pass it through without actually any MIDI conversion, if you just take that audio signal that goes through the hex pickup, it also sounds like crap. So I'm not sure if their circuitry is crap or not. But if it's really, if it's what's being sent out by the guitar, then processing that DI sound directly inside software on the computer, I'm wondering about how good it would actually sound.
Well, if it's being turned into a different waveform, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's not what he does, though. He kind of processes. Yeah, you can trigger some waveforms based off of it, but I think the latency might be a bit high. But the basic idea is to use it. You use that as the waveforms and to use effects to modify it.
Someone gave me an algorithm in Kima for doing exactly what they're doing. So if I could get 6 channels of audio in, I could probably do.
That would be cool.
Accidentally, but yeah. The question is how do you get... I don't know, like, if the signal needs to be boosted with op amps or what, and it would also... You have to wire it custom and everything, so...
Sounds like a fun project.
Yeah, I got enough projects.
You certainly don't want to do it on a Gibson. The
Yeah.
Dutch Tiger I have just sucks. It's got the 13-pin connector, but it has it on a FireWire interface. So first of all, you have to actually have the thing running on the computer. And secondly, it multiplexes the 6 audio streams onto a standard guitar cable. So there's just terrible latency, and the sample rate's terrible too.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't use a regular 13-pin cable, right, Mike?
Their interface has a 13-pin cable, but the guitar doesn't.
Okay. Yes.
And they do have separate piezo pickups, but you can't get them out of the guitar.
That's a shame. I'm gonna turn on the light here because it's getting dark quite rapidly. Yeah, so apart from that, I'm hoping that well, something we were talking about earlier, Chris, was an idea that I kind of had a long time ago, and I kind of revisited it yesterday, which is to have some kind of automatic multi-audio unit instance creation facility inside Eigenharp that would, when you say, okay, I want to play with a polyphony of 4, they would open 3 additional instances of an audio unit and basically detect changes in the save state of the audio unit and propagate changes that you make. And only send MIDI channel 1 to each audio unit so that they're actually always listening for the same MIDI channel information. So if you do MIDI CC mappings in there, MIDI learns or things like that, that it would also always pick up the correct ones. But then use it as if, you know, the polyphonic MIDI mode now works inside the Eigenharp, but use it to send out 4 times on MIDI channel 1 with 3 hidden instances.
So like a device chain.
Yeah, but then, you know, kind of would give you automatic polyphony if the audio unit doesn't support it. So.
And you use a lot of processing power.
Depends on the audio unit, but it's something that I've been doing, and I know that some other Eigenharp players have been actually hosting Bajul inside Eigenharp to filter out the MIDI channels and to create different instances of the same audio unit, and then having manually to propagate the patch changes across the different instances, which is kind of a drag to do. So. So Rob Stewart is joining. I don't know. Tries to join, but leaves. Yeah. Anyway, know who that is. Seems to be very tenacious.
Yeah, it's strange, but the Hangout, it doesn't let me take audio from any other source except for my camera.
Yes, I know.
Which is a bummer because... Oh, you have the same problem?
Yeah, actually, the only way that I succeeded in doing it is I plug. I use a digital audio input on the Mac's built-in audio card, and then I send it over. I send it from my audio device, FireWire audio external audio device. Send a Toslink mix to the Mac audio interface, and then I can use it like that. Right. So that's why once I just didn't have any audio because I forgot to plug in that cable. I always have to keep remembering.
You guys just froze.
I'm can see others moving. Hello? No. Yeah, Duncan, you're still there. Who's still there? Yep. Well, it seems Chris froze for us, and we all froze for him.
Oh yeah, after our hangout the other day, guys, Google Plus just went away completely here. Just said, can't find the server for about an hour.
Huh. We just timed it right.
Yeah. I was wondering if perhaps part of our problem was just the amount of load they have on Sundays.
Maybe. But, Drahika's noise did come back today, so... And I suspect it's probably her headset. I've had a number of headsets just like that just suddenly stop working. So. Oh, you're on the notebook microphone.
Yeah, I find their noise cancellation works just fine as long as you use the same device for speaker and mic.
Right. Hi, Rob. Oh, it's Jeff.
Rob, who's really Jeff?
Yes, Rob is really Jeff. So, Jeff, if there is something in particular that you want to discuss, just type it in the chat. If you don't have a microphone, you can also connect the microphone if you want to, and then I can show you stuff and explain you things. What planet is this? It's Google Planet. So, and Antonio is dark today also again. Eigenplanet. So yeah, Rob, we're a little bit from all over the world. Mike is from Canada. Duncan is from Ireland, right?
Yep.
Drahika, Switzerland, if I remember it correctly. And Chris is the east coast of the US. No, west coast of the US somewhere. And then Antonio is from Portugal. So we're from and I'm from Belgium. So it is kind of the time of day that we settled on Mondays to touch base. Chris gets up early for that. So where are you from, Jeff? Wyoming, cool. So it's early for you too. So is anything in particular that you would like to see, or that you like me to demo, or someone to explain to you, or talk about their experience? Or so as I said, Jeff is interested in the Eigenharp for kind of ethnic music, and a little bit he was wondering about how to use the existing plugins that do ethnic sounds with the Eigenharp, and if all the possibilities were available through those plugins. So I think that's the last thing that I remember being said through email. So I don't know if you guys have something to say about that.
Well, I mean, I've used Raw, East-West Raw, and it works fine. And Duncan, you'll laugh, but I actually use the sound. I've made sound fonts from some of the Apple sounds, some of the EXS sounds, and I've had great luck using their Celtic flute, which is just a terrible thing in the GarageBand thing, but when you play it on an Eigenharp, it works quite well.
Right.
And that's about it.
Yeah, so that's a common thing, Jeff, is that the Eigenharp allows you to put so much expression into sounds through the keys that often, if patches are too automated with too much automatic intonation or expression being built in, then it kind of feels artificial on the Eigenharp. So if you're able to kind of dumb it down to be able to be in control, then you get usually a much better experience out of it.
Yeah, Raw works. I run it. I also run their Symphonic Choirs, which also works.
So basically, the way these things work, though, is you have to be careful about saying it works, because if you do have to think about how you will tie different expressions to the possibilities of the sound. Basically, because you have to go, since these are not native Eigenharp instruments, you have to think about how will I map the possibilities of the Eigenharp to what the sound is capable of doing, and that does take a while sometimes to figure it out. It's important to be aware of that, because sometimes it can go quickly, but there are times that it can take an awful lot of time before you're actually finding the right way to configure these things. Let me see if I can find a nice... What kind of ethnic instruments in particular are you interested in, Jeff? I do have this flute that I received from Orange Tree Samples a while ago, which I thought sounded very nice. Passion flute.
I'm just trying to fire up my Alpha now, and I'll load Raw if I can find it. Everything at the moment. You play everything all at once, or one at a time?
So one thing to be aware of is that also if a lot of these instruments, these ethnic instruments, are usually based on samples, so sample-based instruments, meaning that they do take up quite a bit of memory on your computer. So you have to be aware of that. So that's one sample-based instrument that I got from Orange Tree Samples, which is called the Passion Flute. But I have not. This is just a default patch without anything set up. See if I can get modulation. No, modulation is set up. Yes. So the way this happens, let me maybe see if I can share this. It is going to get a little bit technical, and just tell me if it is too much for you or not. So when you tell me if you can see this black window with the little grid lines. So what happens is that when you host an audio unit or a plugin inside Eigen, then you get this thing that we call the routing matrix, where you can basically say, okay, this part of the Eigenharp, which, for example, strip position, the breath pipe, blow, suck, the pressure of the keys, the up and down movement or left and right movement, pedals, all these things are available on the columns here. And then you can say, okay, I want to have this information to be tied to that particular MIDI CC, which is how traditionally control or expression is being sent to an audio unit. And to get that set up, basically you press on the intersection, and then you get a whole bunch of things that you can fine-tune for it. Additionally, which is something that is an advantage of using audio units, you can use something that's called host automation parameters, which is basically what is being used if you automate aspects of a plugin in a digital audio workstation. The advantages of those is that they're much higher resolution. So you can basically say, if I, for example, take this one, let's see if it worked. So I tied expression here. So in contact, I basically dragged that particular parameter to the expression. And I've never done this, so I just... So now by blowing, I actually control the expression. It might be better than it is. So you can kind of fine-tune this about any which way you like to see what feels natural to you, and you try it with pressure. It seems to be because it is at the top right. So now as I press down harder on the key, the control called expression on the instrument. Let me see if I can share that. So if I just share this section, I'm not sure if you can see this right, but to the left there is something called expression, and as I press on the key, that control of the instrument actually moves. So that is something that you can use to basically fine-tune how instruments interact with the different controls of the Eigenharp. It's a very short overview of that. Does that clear up a number of things for you, Jeff?
I guess the other thing, if you're using East-West stuff, they tend to have their own scales built in. You'd probably be better off using the one in the Eigenharp, just so that everything else you play is in the same scale.
Yeah. And so then there is, but then we're getting into advanced territory. There is also a way, and I can help you do that, or others on the forums, to leverage the fact that the Eigenharp does all this polyphonically. Basically, if you use something like Contact that is being used by a lot of sample libraries, or you're able to set up different instances of the same instrument. So it's as if you've got 4 different passion flutes that are available for you to play. And then the Eigenharp can automatically see, okay, well, you're playing 2 at the same time, and then it will use the 2 different passion flutes independently, so that you can change, for example, the pitch of each one independently, since the keys do send that out as separate information. But that's already a little bit trickier to set up. Let's see, do I have a demo of this somewhere? It's been a while since I used this setup. Yeah, I've got it here. Don't know which audio it is though. Oh, that's the hang drum. I think that's it. So this is an example of that. See if I can share that. So this is an instrument called Glassworks that you can purchase. And I've got different times the same instrument that is running inside Contact. And what I did was the first one is listening to MIDI channel 1, the second one is listening to MIDI channel 2, the third one is MIDI channel 3, and the fourth to MIDI channel 4. And the Eigenharp is able to send out the data. If it knows that you're only playing one key, it will take the last available one, which was MIDI channel 3. And as long as I don't press any other key simultaneously, it will continue using that same one. However, as I start pressing multiple keys at the same time, it will start using more independent versions of that instrument. So then you can do something like having one version play and change the pitch independently on both notes. For instance. The the East-West Play software with Eigen software. Well, if it's an audio unit, it will almost certainly. Well, Mike has used it as an audio unit. It works as any audio unit plugin, so you can just host it inside the Eigenharp Eigen software and use it like that. Another option always is, but that's less recommended because you're not working with a unified package anymore that can send out the data directly. You can send out MIDI information from Eigen into any other standalone application. So if you've got this standalone software running that makes your sound, then you can always send MIDI to it. But if it's got a plugin version, audio unit or VST, then it's probably easier to just have it hosted inside Eigen and leverage it like that.
That's East-West Raw Bansuri. Can you hear that?
Yes, sounds great.
So it works. And I'll just take you over here and show you my other machine. Is that right, or is it backwards? Whoops. Is that useful? No.
Yes. Well,
so there's this is raw here.
Yeah. Yes.
And it works just fine. I haven't mapped anything particularly.
Right.
So you can just pick whatever you want, and I see I've got it set in C Western, so it'll be fine. But I don't know if anybody else is interested in this, but you just go over to the browser and you go back to whatever you want. I actually have no idea what a ngoni is. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Or if that's how you say it?
I have no idea. I've never heard that word, I think.
Well, let's see what it sounds like. An Australian marsupial. Okay.
I don't even know what a marsupial is.
Kangaroo.
Sounds like Kodo? Or how do you say that? The Oriental one?
Sounds cool. Sounds very nice.
It actually is a nice sound, isn't it?
Oh, you play the Kodo. That's cool. Let me see. Yeah, as you said, Rahika, plugin Omnisphere that I also use has a bunch of things built in also. See if I can get it working.
Thanks, Duncan.
It's not that.
Wonders of Google. I'm looking.
We're just experimenting with stuff here.
I like the dogs in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dog seems to have found it.
Is that also an ethnic
Here in
instrument?
our parking lot. Eagles and deers.
What else? Alchemy Lakota rain flute. I can try that.
Actually, it's very nice.
Let me see. Because I do have Alchemy. Camel Audio, Alchemy. So each time, basically, Jeff, I'm just loading another audio unit plugin while the Eigenharp software keeps running, and it just works. Let's see where I should.
And he.
Woodwinds.
Can you sample that? The dogs. Yeah, and then we can play Christmas music, right?
Is that in? Do you know which category this is in? This desert flute, Lakota rain flute. Sorry, Lakota. Oh, rain Lakota. Fine. Yeah, so sounds great. So yeah, Jeff. Basically, there's little that you can't do. It's often just a question of finding the sounds that you like, or a way of interacting with them if the standard way doesn't suit your style of playing. And so you already saw that video where this is an example of how you could set things up. It's the hang drum thing. So what I did here was, instead of playing with notes, I created a design where these 5 keys are actually the same note. These and these again also, but they are different articulations mapped to another key in the same area. So if I want to play a note, then I just tap it, and based on where I tap it, I will get different samples, different articulations, which then interact also with the velocity at which you tap it. So it opens up this whole spectrum of things you can do. There's also the risk of losing your entire life trying sounds out and ways how to play them. And can you get pitch bend with a hang? Yeah, you could.
Thanks for that. It's great fun.
Yeah, it is awesome to play with. It is. Yeah, you can hit pitch bend with the hang. I just turned it off. That's all. Let me see.
So Garrett, is some of the new, there's some new agents in 2.0 like Stringer? Is that going to be?
No, that's 1.4 actually. The Stringer is something that is being used for the cello already and the clarinet.
So could we hook that up for by loading it with content?
Yeah.
Because I've actually run into a few situations where I did want it to. I mean, is that basically just taking each chorus as a string?
Yes.
And only playing one note on the chorus?
Yes.
Because it could be interesting to do if I wanted to do something like play bass along with some other stuff and use like the lowest note on a string for the bass.
Yes. Yeah, you could experiment with that.
Yeah.
The Stringer has been in there since the beginning of Eigenharp, so.
Yeah, I did see it in 1.4. I just didn't know it was actually working for something.
So Jeff, it is possible to set pitch bend up for the hang drum. Problem is that they have not designed the instrument to do that. So to do it, I'll have to edit the actual It's basically just not getting the information through MIDI. So it has nothing set up to actually get the MIDI pitch bend information. But going through the advanced interface of Contact, it's possible to set that up. But if I do this live here, I will probably mess it up and you will be very bored. But I can try. Pitch bend. Oh, it goes to something else. Modulation, pitch bend. Oh, I think I actually turned the pitch bend range to 0 at elsewhere. Let's see. Well, it is totally possible. It's just got so many. I have to avoid the window that on the screen, so I'm moving everything around here. Otherwise, it will all end up on live stream because I'm sending this out on live stream through stream capturing software. So it's not that. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, as an aside on Windows, I have a terrible time selecting them on Mac Lion. They all, when you want to look at all of them, they all line up on top of each other. So I end up having to go back to the old style of let's move windows around until I can get to the one I want.
Right.
Do you have any idea why that happens?
I don't know. Works fine for me. Just tried it.
So when you do expose, they all sort of tile and you can pick the one you want?
Yeah.
I'm doing something weird then.
There are different types of expose. You've got expose for application or global or
Windows.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
So Jeff, your question is basically that depends on what you're using. If your sampler that you're using, like Contact or the Motu one or any which one, you could edit any sample. It's the software that generates the sound. That is responsible for that. There is nothing built in the Eigenharp that allows you to visually edit a sample, but it does support any kind of sound font sampler instruments. So what you can do is use any of the freely available sound font sample instrument editors and edit the samples in there and then play it through the Eigenharp sound font sample player. So you can do it like that. So, we're normally kind of wrapping up the thing here now, just so you know, Jeff. So, if you have any other questions, and just you can.
And I am going to go because it's feeding time at the zoo.
I can hear it.
Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah. So, well, it works fine on both machines, Windows and Mac. There is a history though of the first releases were only on Mac. So it has had more testing. Bye, Duncan. Take care. And,
right.
Get
See you
better.
guys hopefully in a week or two.
Yeah, get better soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this thing of testing on Windows. There are some situations that you can run into with audio interfaces that might not be that compatible. Sometimes you get weird issues with audio interface drivers that are doing strange things. It's been a long time since we've had any of those, but I know that they exist. So the only thing I can tell you is that they're supposed to work the same, but there are much more variations on the Windows machine. So it could be that you run into a variation that has some kind of peculiarity that hasn't been tested before. Cool, Jeff. Well, thanks for being able to make it, and hope to see you on the cam next week then.
Need to figure out how to get the harp into Google.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's on the. Let me just try it on the camera for a second and see if it sounds. 1 sec.
I can hear that fine.
I can hear that fine. You hear that?
But I can hear myself also. It's echoing.
Okay, hold on.
Wow, Chris, I have to say that just watching you play, your confidence on the Eigenharp is tremendously improved. I can just see the way that you hold it and you put your fingers on it. It's like, okay, I'm doing it now. So you can feel that. It's cool.
Yeah, and I've got 3 pieces on this now, so I'm doing the doing bass, keys, and everything together. And I'm trying to. The hardest part is I'm trying to figure out the most efficient way to like do it from scratch. You know, like actually build it up from scratch. And
Yes.
that's kind of challenging.
It is. Yeah.
So that's cool.
But I think it's the way you learn the most and get the quickest results also. And I think you can see it if you can just look at your play.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Well, I gotta go also. So thanks
Yeah,
everyone for
sounds
being
good, guys.
here, and then see you next week.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Later.